What's up, engineer? I was hoping somebody would hop on. Hi, Claire. Thanks for hopping on. I just wanted to see what you guys think about this. Hi, keeping this wine in line. I filed this because, all right, so I am on EDMS. Bear with me too, because I'm not as good at live as Dustin is. I have EDMS, and so I always get notifications about stuff that's coming from the court. And Chad Pelley's process server, I think it is. I don't know. Like it's like it's hard to tell because they just dress in regular clothes. And the first time that we ever it came in contact with a guy, I wasn't around. My daughter, who's a teenager, she's the one that also spoke at city council, was with my younger kids. And she pulled in and he came into the garage. He, like, followed her into the garage, and so, like, that scared the heck out of us because, we have a lot of people that come to our house ever since I gave out my address at the Marion City Council meeting. So, like, we're scared. Like, we have reason to be scared. So, here's what I filed. I'm basically just asking them to just, like, consider this, consider me served or something because I already know about it. It's already through EDMS. So here's what I said. Through social media, harassing communication from City of Marion affiliates and other means, I have heard rumors of that Chad Pelley is making frivolous claims against me and others in the form of a lawsuit. Like, the lawsuit was filed on the internet and people were telling me about it before it was even filed in court. Despite publicly offering to work with Mr. Pelley before this lawsuit was even filed, having easily accessible professional contact information, including bailey@basim.com for non-social media users, and a clear policy for how to reach out if corrective action is needed by me as a journalist, neither Mr. Pelley or his representation has reached out to me directly to tell me there are concerns they would like to mitigate. Which is true. Like, before I even heard about the lawsuit, when we first found out the Pelley stuff, I think I posted on YouTube and Facebook. I said, hey, if there's more to this, Chad, reach out to me. I literally do work with people who are serving life in prison. So it's not, I would hear from him if he wanted to tell me his side of the story. I really, that's genuine. I would. And a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with that, frankly. I did have one individual who refused to state how she was connected to Chad Pelley or if she was acting on behalf of Chad Pelley, provide additional information regarding a court balance owed that I had reported on. Linn County Courts Online made it appear that all defendants owed the balance, when in reality it was only one defendant. It was a defendant other than Chad Pelley. When she gave me evidence to support what she was saying, I immediately updated all of my followers with the new information, and everyone else I saw that had communicated the information from Iowa courts regarding the financial balance. I also let her know if there were any other inaccuracies that I was happy to correct, but everything was true and accurate to my knowledge and was obtained from public sources. Despite my desire to work with Mr. Pelley before his legal action was even initiated and providing clear contact details, Mr. Pelley and his representation portrayed to the court that I am difficult to get in contact with. And I'm just going off of what the process server is saying in their paperwork that they filed regarding their search. Like, he's basically saying that he sits outside my house, but he never sees me come out. I do believe that the Linn County Sheriff's Office came, but it was when my kids were home alone, and they don't even, they know better to even go to the door. So I don't know. It could have been them. It might not have. According to their records, I trust what they're saying, but they're saying, well, we heard her walking around. It's like, well, how do you know it was me? It was my kids who are scurrying around because there's a stranger at the door. I'm trying to give them some context, basically. And there was like a sign on the door too, because it talks about, because my daughter, she studies at home alone a lot. She's near college age. In January of 2024, after seeking all other remedies I could think of, I spoke at a Marion, Iowa City Council meeting begging for help from my city leaders. My friend of 20 years, myself, and others had been targeted by the Marion Police Department and other local government agencies. We have faced and continue to face a lot of harassment and intimidation from the Marion Police Department and their affiliates. The biggest loss, and what I have been attempting to seek remedy for, is the unlawful and unethical termination of parental rights of my best friend to his very young son. This occurred as part of the retaliation and conspiracy among many individuals, many of which are extremely powerful and work in official capacities. I could only ask the city officials for a private meeting because my concerns involved a minor child and I did not want these details made public as they involved juvenile records. Despite my pleas for help being broadcast on the mainstream media, the City of Marion officials have failed to even ask what my concerns are. As a result, I have learned about their involvement. After consulting with professionals across the country, I decided to expand on exercising my First Amendment rights to freedom of press, and I began independent journalistic work. As a result, I've met many people who have experienced or are still experiencing targeting and retaliation from City of Marion officials and authorities, specifically when they're asserting their constitutional rights. I have a social media presence where I help people speak out regarding issues and experience in the City of Marion and their affiliates. Many are still too afraid to speak out, even anonymously. On June 11, 2024, I watched and interacted with a live stream of a public meeting that was taking place at the Marion Public Library. The focus was on the Marion mayor, city council members, and public information that was being discussed regarding the city. Mr. Pelley was acting aggressively towards another journalist I know, Dustin. I have personal experience filming in public with and without him, in addition to also watching his work for years. The majority of my work and my primary focus has been in Marion. However, I have performed an extensive amount of work in other parts of Linn County and other Iowa counties as well. While we have seen police officers and county attorneys act aggressively while they are on the job and in disagreement with a member of the public, Mr. Pelley was unique. We have never seen any bystander in public, nonetheless a public figure, conduct themselves aggressively the way Mr. Pelley did at the library. Mr. Pelley wasn't even the focus of what was being documented, which was the City of Marion elected officials and the choices they make in our community. Mr. Pelley's behavior was highly suspicious, and it prompted an investigation by not only me, but many other individuals. Since uncovering public records that Mr. Pelley is attempting to suppress, my family and I have received significant and severe harassment. Some of this comes from people acting anonymously, but not all of it. The harassment includes written communication regarding my minor daughter and when she will turn 18, insinuating that an adult is looking forward to attempting to have adult relations with her. And this email actually came through to Dustin the day that we went to the courthouse to pick up the Pelley records. It was within an hour. It's already been submitted to the court. So circumstantial evidence would lead you to believe that that had something to do with that. It's very alarming. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't be alarmed by that. I have had people show up at my home and leave items, not paperwork. They leave like traffic cones. People have threatened to leave flamingos. Like they just show up sometimes and sit outside. You know, I've documented it. Just weird stuff. We've been stalked for, a year now at least, longer. Anyways, they sit outside for hours at a time. I've photographed this on many occasions. So if it had been a process server, they would have seen me according to their report of watching me outside. Our phones have been called continuously by people who are only calling to harass, to the point we have had to set our devices to silence unknown callers so we can remain productive in our personal lives. My daughter has reported being followed in her vehicle on numerous occasions, reported to me. My social media posts that contain important information intended for the public in regards to public safety have been reported maliciously to some of my social media platforms. This has cost me time to address and threatens my good reputation with these social media platforms that I need for my nonprofit organization based in. Social media community guidelines are very restrictive with anything that appears to be borderline harassment or bullying. They typically have stricter guidelines than the United States Constitution when it comes to free speech. To date, none of my posts have been removed as I'm not violating any community guidelines. The unjustified abusive actions are a direct violation of my First Amendment rights under the United States Constitution to freedom of press, freedom to redress grievances, and freedom of speech. It's also a violation of 18 U.S.C. conspiracy against rights. Section 241 makes it unlawful for two or more persons to agree to injure, threaten, or intimidate a person in the United States in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured by the Constitution or laws of the United States because of his or her having exercised such right. Unlike most conspiracy statutes, 241 does not require as an element the commission of an overt act. This offense is always a felony, even if the underlying conduct would not, on its own, establish a felony violation of another criminal civil rights statute. It's punishable by up to 10 years in prison. I'll skip over that. Section 241 is used in law enforcement misconduct and hate crime prosecutions. It was originally used before conspiracy-specific trafficking statutes were adopted in human trafficking prosecutions. Through his own admission and court actions, Mr. Pelley and associates have viewed my social media pages extensively and must be aware of my desperate pleas for help from the city of Marion. This means that Mr. Pelley is aware, and as a self-proclaimed leader and someone that is closely associated with the Marion officials, he is choosing to also participate in retaliation against me as opposed to offering to assist me, my family, or my clients. He also must be aware of my role in the community as a journalist and advocate for people who wish to speak out but are afraid to do so. I am very well known in my community by citizens and officials. I've been recognized for my advocacy work by well-respected journalists across the country. There are a number of incorrect statements in the statements made by the process server in Linn County Sheriff's Office. For example, I don't even have blinds or window coverings on the windows of my home. You can see the inconsistencies in the statements. Sometimes I'm described as having excessive window coverings at my home. Other times it's stated that TVs can be seen so well that individuals can determine if they are on or off. At one point in the beginning of the school year, there was a sign on the front door that politely asked strangers not to disturb due to studying being in progress. This was created to address people generally. My children are homeschooled, and sometimes my oldest child studies at home alone. The process servers are referencing my daughter's car, which they know is my daughter's car. I believe this is why they have decided not to provide a physical description of the vehicle. The weight, the height, and hair color description also describes my minor daughter, not me. Again, this is information that can easily be confirmed on social media that the process servers admit they have accessed. My daughter has spoken at city council as well, and so we both can be seen on all social media platforms. Strangers, which I assume could be the process servers, but there are others, have startled my daughter and other children when they are with her more than once. They continue to do this despite her stating to them that she is a minor in many of the interactions. My children don't usually hear the door as we have a larger home and they are usually far away from the door when they are in the home, but they don't answer the door for safety reasons. I feel my children, my teenage daughter specifically, is being targeted to cause additional emotional distress. Mr. Pelley's request for more time is merely an excuse to continue and prolong harassment of my oldest daughter. In addition, it is a prolonged attempt to intimidate me into silence in violation of my First Amendment rights. His actions are an abuse of the legal system. He has filed petitions in court against women in at least one instance and later fails to show up to court, which results in dismissal or they're dismissed for other reasons. Mr. Pelley's representation has not diligently searched for me. They have simply used this frivolous lawsuit to harass, intimidate, stalk, and cause stress to my minor children, which also causes me significant emotional distress. So I ask that the court deny Pelley's request for extension of time in this matter, and that it be dismissed with prejudice, so that he will stop using it as an excuse to harass my children and I. Alternatively, I asked that the court suggest alternative service, either news publication or leaving the petition at my door. The paperwork has already well circulated through the internet, so the extra service is not necessary. And they denied it, which honestly surprised me. I don't know what else to do. I don't want them to keep following my kids around, obviously. I don't, I would think that his lawsuit people would, reach out to me and be like, "Okay, when can we meet?" I don't know. I don't know. So, I'm just wondering if any of you have gone through that and what you think. I'm looking through your comments now. What's up, everybody? Engineer, you think I'm a good writer? I do love to write. That's like how I deal with things, is I write. Process servers are exempt from some trespass laws, but I'm pretty sure entering your garage isn't one of the exemptions. See, like, that's what I thought. And then my kids have said that they've seen them like looking through the windows, even the back windows. And I'm just like, are they allowed to be doing that? Like, I mean, I personally don't know, but I'm just like, I don't want, it's like, just consider it done. You know what I mean? What do I got to do to consider it done so that you can stop? Because, you know, like my kids, like they've been scared throughout this process, you know? And so I think any kid, even not my own kids, would be afraid if somebody was looking through the windows. It's just, it sucks. And they tend to come at like, I don't know. My kids have said around the same time, but like nobody ever, I mean, it's not like they keep track, and I don't think they hear them every time because they're usually in the basement. Could they have gone to the wrong house? I don't know. I don't know. Claire, wow, Bailey, that is so well written. I appreciate that. Hi, Mushroom. Joe Black, can you offer to set up an appointment to be served? Like that's, yeah, exactly. That's what I like am trying to figure out. So I don't. Spooky behavior, peeking into rear windows. Yeah, I know. And they even said it one time. Like like the process server even said like, yeah, didn't knock on the door, but I did see from the back windows that the TVs were on. And it's like, well, like, how do you think somebody's gonna feel if you didn't knock at the door, you didn't leave a note, and you admit that you're looking through the windows, you know, and we didn't know this at the time. I see it in EDMS like weeks later. Anon, they're allowed to peek through your windows. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. Like I don't know if I should like reach out to the court and ask if I can get like the contact information for the server. I don't know. Dustin said something like maybe I could reach out to the law office, see if they'll give it to me. But yeah, I'm just wondering if anybody's gone through this and what they'd suggest. Process servers must respect people's expectations of privacy. This includes not touching a mailbox or trying to find an alternative entrance to a property. Frank, because I record the local cops, they drive by my house at night and shine their spotlights into my house. Scared my kids. Yeah, that brings up an excellent point. So, after our first city council meetings, you know, in January, from January to what, probably May at least, the cops would sit outside our house for hours at a time. If we were in the pool, they would be like driving by. Kitzmiller has driven by. And so it's like I do my best to not like let my kids be afraid, but like the reality is like who, you know, like my kids are now afraid of the police, you know, and it's not my fault. It's what they've done. It's like I never in a million years when I went to a city council meeting in January with my teenage daughter thought that it was this bad. I never thought they would go after her. It's like even Dustin has made complaints about Reagan Kerfman, who doesn't work for the Marion Police Department anymore, but like how he was targeting her in the school parking lot and yelling at her and giving her unlawful orders. It's just, I don't know. I need some help, I guess, but. Yeah, Claire Kitzmiller. It's crazy. I don't understand that guy. I really don't. But anyways, peeps, I'm gonna hop off here. I don't know. I'll figure out what to do here sooner or later. Maybe I can set up a time to, I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted. I appreciate you hopping on. I taught my kids not to believe or trust the cops ever, Frank. Yeah, I mean, that's what I tell my kids. It's like I just tell them, you know, like don't ever be disrespectful, don't be rude, you know, but they are strangers at the end of the day, you know. We do have some cops in town that like we know are good cops that we've had personal good experience with, and so they know, but I just tell them, you know, a cop is a stranger just like any other stranger until we get to know them and they're our friend. We're polite, we're nice, but we don't make conversation with strangers, you know? Yeah, exactly. No, exactly, Frank. Tell them to keep their mouth shut. Like, it just I think everybody should be teaching their kids, and it's unfortunate that we live in a world like that, but yeah. Joe, call around and try to set up an appointment to be served. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it on a recorded line. Oh, they're allowed to peek in your windows because if they can photograph you inside your home, they can announce service and drop it on your porch. Yeah. It's like I told you guys you can leave it. Why can't you just leave it? Like I just wish that they could just it's like I don't know. I just wish the judge would have just said, "Yeah, go ahead. She gave you permission. Leave it at her house. It's fine." But I don't know. It might not be how it works. So that's what I'll do. I'll figure out who I can reach out to or ask the court and go from there. I appreciate you peeps. I am signing out.